I recently did a video on the Pajero CK, the second to the last generation of Pajeros, and today here we have the last generation of the Pajero, the Pajero BK. This is a 2008 Pajero BK, and today I'm going to show you around this car and I'm also going to give it a test drive. But before that, please don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to my channel to see more updates, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. In the Philippines, we usually know this series as the BK series, the BK body. But I know elsewhere in the world, since this is a pre-facelift model, this is called the NS. Later on, the facelift models, they will be called the NT, the NW, and I believe it was the NX. So anyway, this one being a pre-facelift, you still have this chrome grille. And although you get fog lamps down here, they don't have the LED DRLs that they would add later on. Now, as you just look around this car, even if you go all over to the side, it looks pretty much like the CK Pajero, the one that precedes this car. But at least it still has the same flared fenders that a lot of Pajeros have since I believe the very first few Pajeros. Then now we move on over to the back. And still, it looks pretty much like the Pajero CK. However, now you have this really nice spare tire cover, which is definitely something that's very Pajero BK-like. That if you see this from afar, you know immediately that this is a Pajero BK. The thing about these older SUVs, such as this BK, is that they weren't exactly designed to be a people mover, unlike newer SUVs. So, as you can see, there is a third row seat, and it's supposedly a two-seater, but it's such an afterthought design. Like, look how small it is. That only fits one obese man. Not even 1.5, that's one obese man right here. So now to remove this, it is very, very tedious. So first you have to remove this. Okay, once that's out of the way, you then have to pull this latch right here, then this one right here, before finally pulling this one, which makes it tumble. It is such a struggle to remove this. Then finally, you push this down. After all that, you still have to put this one back up before you can enjoy a proper trunk area. And it is very similar to most modern cars' trunk size, so really it's nothing special. It's not like this mechanism would increase your load capacity that much, so that is quite annoying. Now we move on over here to the side. What's nice about this is that you can push this rather, and it'll lock this so you don't actually accidentally get crushed if there's wind. So now we unlock it like that, and then you can finally move it. Now if you open this one up, you get a big cubby in here. It looks like one of those baby diaper changing stations, but it's very flimsy, so don't do that. Close that one back up, and here you open this and there's a bolt inside. That's how you release your spare tire. And finally we can close this one back up like that. So the Pajero BK came with a bunch of engine options, and in the Philippines the only one we have locally is a 3.2 liter diesel. However, this one being a gray market unit, you have this Mitsubishi 3.8 liter V6 engine with MIVEC technology. MIVEC, that's just a fancy term for variable valve timing, and this is a 6G75 engine. Now it produces 250 horsepower and 329 Newton meters of torque, which is more than adequate for a car of this size. And what I want to note is just how light this hood is. I mean, okay, I'm going to use 2 fingers for it, 1 finger. Okay, that's a bit hard, but it's doable. It's just extremely light, probably the lightest hood I've opened in a car this size. So here inside the Pajero, first let's check the thud of the door. So it's a very solid sound. It's very similar to the CK. So let's start it up. It fires right up like that. Let's turn on AC first. So now in here, in the cabin, it is again very similar to the CK. So these materials up here, they are soft touch, but they're only minimally padded, like extremely minimally padded. Same thing with the door cards right here. But this one, at least your armrest, that is soft. The steering wheel in this one, I love how chunky it feels. However, I'm not too sure about the leather quality on it. It's a bit too smooth for me. So imagine if you get one of those armor alls in here, which you might accidentally put when you clean in your car. Yes, this will be very, very slippery. It does look very nice though with this Mitsubishi logo, which is more modern. It's similar to the Montero Sport. It's multifunction as well. Now your gauge cluster, it doesn't look that modern. It looks like something from the mid-2000s, which this car is. What's annoying about it is that it's tilted a bit counterclockwise for both the tachometer and the speedometer, which it just throws me off a little bit. This car is 63,470 kilometers. Here in the middle, you get this trip computer, and it even comes with a barometer. So when this car had the stock head unit in it, it was only buttons, but now it has this 2-din unit. But when it only had the buttons, all the radio settings and station information, they would all show up here. So it's really multifunction all the way. And by the way, you also get both your fuel economy, your barometer, and those incline thingy that you use for off-roading. Down here, you get this cubby right here, which is very small. You also get a card holder right here. You also get 2 big cup holders, which even though 7-Eleven gulp cups will definitely fit in here. Your gear selector, it is very big and chunky. You even get the manual shifting up and down. Very similar again to the CK. Then you also get your super select switch right here, which you engage not by pressing anything, you just press down instead of like a button on the side. It's pretty cool. Now here you also get a 12-volt outlet, and if you open this up, there's a button down here, so there's like a total of 3 buttons in here. It is very big. It's not that wide, but it's big enough. And there's another 12-volt outlet over there. This one also slides forward, so when you're driving, you rest your elbows over there and open this one up, and you get another small cubby. My favorite thing with these older cars, your conventional handbrake. So this car is Bilstein shock, so you can definitely do handbrake turns with this. The suspension is pretty good. Moving on to the side, our huge glove box. Now the seats, they are very CK-like, very similar again to the CK, and they're very comfortable. I'm loving the leather on it, including these weird wrinkled leather look to it. It's definitely very cool. It is 10-way power adjustable in the driver's seat with lumbar support, but it's only a couple of 4-way, I believe, on the passenger seat. But at least you have power seats too. Here at the back of Pajero BK, let's check the thud of the door. Sounds very solid, very similar to a CK. Now back here, the materials are great. It's very similar to the front, so you do get the same weirdly, slightly soft touch thing. The seats, they're very nice. The leather work is definitely good. I love the wrinkle effect on it too. Now you get loads of legroom. This is seated behind my driving position, but I'm only 5'6", so do take that in mind. But your foot room, it's very tight, so you can't exactly jam your feet under the front seat, just like a Land Cruiser. Is quite annoying. Now the windows on this is definitely something kids will not love. It doesn't go down all the way. Yeah, just like that. Now this car is nice and wide, so even if you sit in the middle with 3 people back here, no problem at all. You also don't have a transmission tunnel, so there's definitely a lot of feet room laterally. Now you do get your own aircon setting back here, but it's not climate control, so there's only hot and cold. It's not automatic at all. You don't have temperatures for it. And while you do get an armrest, and while you can kind of recline your seat, which reclines all the way actually, what's annoying about it is that this armrest, if you have the center headrest down, you won't be able to pull it because the center headrest eats into the armrest. Quite annoying. So again, you have to pull that up first before you pull it. Once it is down though, you do get 2 cup holders back here. So driving the 2008 Mitsubishi Pajero BK. Now earlier I reviewed the Pajero CK, which is the one before this, and honestly there's really not much different among the two. It's as if this car was just merely a CK that has been facelifted, and it actually is. Sure, there were some tweaks to the suspension. They made it a bit better, a bit probably lighter, and a bit tighter, which you can definitely feel a little bit, just a tiny little bit. But it retains the same great handling of the CK. This one handles extremely well, and not just for SUV standards. This handles pretty well in general. But I can't exactly say if that's because of the design of this car or because of the fact that this has upgraded Bilstein shocks. The owner upgraded to Bilstein shocks, but really, yeah, this car is just a CK overall. Now, the acceleration in this car, the 3.8 liter Myvic engine, it's definitely better than like a CK, so that sounds amazing. And it's naturally aspirated too, so you just don't get those with newer cars now. Nowadays, all the cars are all turbocharged and all that crap. Well, sure, yes, they produce more power and they're more efficient, but you know, the more turbochargers you have, the more force induction, superchargers, whatnot, the more that they're going to break. One more. I'm not even gonna stop for this hump right here. I'm just gonna slow down a little bit. Wow, it feels like a sedan. It handles better than my old Lexus ES. That car was just so boaty and floaty, but this car, I'm just gonna corner fast right here. We're currently in 2-wheel drive mode, and just look how great that corners. Now this car also comes with the Super Select 4-wheel drive system. So Super Select means that you can actually change while you're moving. You don't have to be stationary, unlike other four-wheel drive cars. But what's also cool about that is that you can also go from full-time to full-time four-wheel drive rather, and also on the fly. So you can drive this four-wheel drive while on the road, while on pavement, which is definitely cool because other four-wheel drive cars it tends to have this like sticking feeling, which would definitely break your powertrain. But in this one, you can drive it in four-wheel drive all the time, anytime you want. So right now the road, it is very wet because it's raining, and let's test out the acceleration with it on four-wheel drive mode. So now I'll just stop right here, and I'm just going to floor the throttle. I love that exhaust note. That is amazing. Now we're doing 80. We're doing 90. Okay, it's not the fastest, but now we're doing 100, and we're just going to stop. It's not fast. It's definitely not fast, but that 3.8 liter exhaust note, again, naturally aspirated. It's just a pleasant experience to one's ears. Stability in this car is great too, just like the Pajero CK. Now you get an extremely long hood. There's not much pillars. This does get curtain airbags and side airbags, which is good. Yet despite that, you have really thin pillars, and even the door cards too, they're nice and thin. So visibility is generally great and excellent all over. Just like the Pajero CK, this car also has the unibody chassis, a monocoque design. It's no longer ladder on frame, so it really does help with the handling a lot. And you also get the 4 independent suspension all around. So although it will trade a little bit of the off-road prowess for on-road performance, I believe that 99 or 95% of buyers who buy this car will just use it on the road anyway. So that's totally fine. This also comes with ABS, stability control, traction control, all that good stuff. So now to demonstrate just how fun it is to drive this car, so I have Christmas tree on the dashboard. I don't have traction control and all that working right now, but I will drive it around this roundabout really, really fast, and oh my gosh. That's fun. I did the same with the CK, and it handles just a little bit better than the CK, but it is incredibly fun. Oh wow. Can't do that with most SUVs, but you definitely can do it with something like a Pajero. Now this car, brand new before, probably upwards of 2 million, almost 3 million. Then today in 2021, the last few models, they're being retailed for around 3 million pesos. However, there's a lot of Mitsubishi dealers that will give you discounts for 2020 and 2019 models, 500,000 peso discount. So you can pick this up for 2.5 million. And I highly do suggest that you pick one up now if you've always been wanting to have one of these, because they're about to stop production for the entire Pajero line, since it's being cannibalized by cars such as the Montero Sport, which is also Mitsubishi. Then yeah, and I believe a lot of collectors would really want one of these in the future, so I only expect values of these cars to go up. Right now you can also get a second-hand model for anywhere between 8 to 900,000 all the way up to 12 or 15, like yeah, 1.2 to 1.5 million pesos. Those generally have the diesel engine, which is the local engine option, and I haven't tried them, but I'm pretty sure that even the diesel engine for this car, it's a great choice. It'll serve you very, very well. If you like this video, please don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more car reviews.